Now, I'm here with Fiona Toy from Virtual Admin. I'm delighted to have Fiona with us, and we're at FlyingSolo Live. Now, Fiona, you are a virtual assistant, and you set up one of the first, I think, virtual assisting companies in Australia, going way back. When would that have been?
It's probably about 9 or 10 years ago.
9 or 10 years.
And yes, I think we were actually a virtual assistant company before we even named it a virtual assistance company.
Okay.
But it was a very new concept in Australia.
All right. So for those of us, those people maybe who still don't know what it is a virtual assistant and why should we have one?
Okay. A virtual assistant basically provides to your business the type of services that you would have in-house if you were a larger company.
Okay.
So if you had 10 or 12 staff on, you may have somebody doing accounts, you might have somebody available to type up notes, to take dictation, to organise some flights,
yep.
to
slide presentations,
database tweaking.
So basically, and I must be totally transparent here. You are my virtual assistant.
Robert.
Yes, so I kind of know how it works. Yeah. But basically, what I've seen, and through other people that I know that work with virtual assistants, is basically we can pretty well chuck anything at you, can't we? We can say, hey, help us with this. Mm-hmm. And most virtual assistants, I think, they charge the way you do, which is. Just describe how that's
well,
done.
There's actually two major structures that virtual assistants charge by. What is very common in the States and perhaps less common here is a retainer system,
right,
where a client might choose to pay for a certain number of hours per week. So they may say to a virtual assistant, I'm going to pay you for 10 hours per week.
Right, and then use up that 10 hours as best
Use
they
up
can.
That time. They may use 6 hours one week. They might get away with 10 and a half the next.
Okay.
Then the way we charge is that we actually charge on a per time basis.
Yeah.
So if we spend 15 minutes on a job, we'll charge our
I've seen that. You itemise like a lawyer, only slightly different fees.
Yes, and we actually don't do time billing blocks, which is actually how lawyers manage to get 36 hours in a day sometimes. Yes. But that tends to work quite well for our clients because it means if they go away for holidays for 3 or 4 weeks, which we encourage our small business owners to do, of course.
Of course you do,
of course. It means that they're not paying for our services when they're not using them.
Okay. And things like handling email when people are away, handling phones when they're away, again, you can do all of that sort of thing.
Yes, we do, and we also help people automate their systems so that often we might have somebody inquire that thinks they're going to actually be using quite a lot of our time.
Right.
And sometimes we can actually look at it and
automate work more
the job.
efficiently.
Absolutely, yes. Find ways to streamline it and automate it. And it may be that we may spend an initial half an hour setting things up, and then it will actually run by itself.
Right. Okay.
So we're always looking for ways to make sure that they're getting.
And also then
money.
for a business that suddenly gets, let's say, very busy with something, you I know work with you have a number of people in your business, so you can expand as well. So suddenly somebody has a lot of stuff to do.
Yes.
You can cope with it.
Yes, and there's quite a few networks of VAs.
Yes.
And then there's a few companies like ours where we actually have a team of people, and so the consistent work from clients, that's the day-to-day, happens every week type work, is offset by the ebbs and flows of small business demands that change on a whim.
Well, do they ebb and flow?
They do, just a little bit, and you know those last minute, oh my goodness, I didn't realise I was going to need that today.
Okay. So if we want to find out more, as you said, there's some networks, so if we just kind of Google virtual administration, I think we'll find a few. And your website is virtualadmin.com.au.
It is, thank you, Robert.
Yes. Like this. All right, thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.